What's going on, guys? Bxllistic Will here, and today I'm gonna just be showing y'all some things about vocal presets that you did or didn't know. Some of this is gonna be common sense, but it needs to reach some of the people out there. I'm gonna just list some things good and bad about vocal presets and just expose some of the things about vocal presets that you might not have known. Before we jump into this, do me a favor, go check out my music, Bxllistic Will, in all stores. I appreciate y'all for running that up, going up in listeners, so I appreciate y'all. Just one way to give me support back. Try to give y'all as much sauce in these videos as possible, whether it's tips or just setting, breaking down presets and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, I'm not wasting any time. Let's jump straight in the video. So, in my opinion and experience, I think the vocal presets are a really good starting point and guide for people who don't know how to mix it all or are afraid of touching plugins. I know there's people out there who are actually like afraid to open up plugins. It seems scary, it doesn't seem fun, it seems hard. The interface or like look on some of the stock plugins on FL Studio or other softwares, it can look really confusing. Sometimes they're not, like the look is not appealing at all. You guys are familiar with Waves plugins. They just have a really good and like appealing interface or just overall look to the plugins. So I understand that messing with plugins or like presets can be really confusing if you don't know how to do any of this, but like I said, they're a good starting point. You guys have to understand that the person who made your preset or vocal chain, if you bought it or just wherever you got it from, they probably and likely did not have the same mic and interface as you. That vocal preset could be a great guide, but it also is adjusted and made with their setting. You will likely have to do a ton of adjusting on these presets. You'll have to mess with the settings to fit your interface and your mic. That's kind of obvious in my opinion, but it's the truth. You're gonna have to mess with your preset at some point if you're trying to upgrade your sound. No matter who you got that preset from, it likely will not sound the exact same. Later on in this video, I'm gonna show you how to kind of mess around and adjust your settings, and just don't be afraid to experiment. It's not a scary thing, and if you do mess up when experimenting or adjusting, you guys can just slide the old like standard preset back on and it will reset. I'm gonna show you guys later on in the video. I think that vocal presets are just a really good guide for people who don't know how to mix. It's like a person who somewhat or does know how to mix. They align a set of plugins that really work well for them with their settings, and honestly the settings could sound really good on your mic and interface. It just depends on what you use. So just picture a preset like a guide. They already assembled all the plugins, they already assembled all the settings. Now you just have to mess with the settings to achieve a better sound or really create your signature preset. There's also people, I get hate in the comments for this, like, oh, not a good look, bro, like talking about just trying to sound like another artist like Yeet, or just doing a Yeet vocal preset breakdown. But in reality, that's not what I'm trying to accomplish, and I'm pretty sure that's not what other people are trying to accomplish either. Nobody's trying to steal their sound. However, the point of vocal presets and why they're labeled like Yeet preset or Lil Uzi is because if you are not trying to actively sound like Lil Uzi or Yeet, for example, those presets could be really well and just have like an overall good sound on your voice. That when you use a preset, you would have to have Yeet's voice to sound like Yeet, or you'd have to have Lil Uzi's exact voice to sound truly like Lil Uzi. I don't think that people are trying to sound like the preset they bought it from, like a Yeet preset. It just creates an overall good sound on your vocals. That's the point of a preset, is because I don't want to sound like Yeet, you know? I don't want to sound like Yeet, but that overall preset could sound really well, just a great mix on my voice, in my opinion. I hope I did a decent job at explaining that and breaking that down. I was trying to make this video quick. There's a lot more I could say on vocal presets, but this is basically just a disclaimer video. You're always gonna have to mess with the settings depending on who you bought the preset from. Don't be afraid to experiment and add plugins or take plugins away, or just try anything. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try new stuff, because that's when you could unlock just like a whole different world. That's how you could create your own signature vocal chain or preset. In summary, don't be afraid to experiment. I think there's people who think when you buy a preset you're trying to copy the artist, but it's really not like that. You're just trying to unlock a new sound for yourself. If you're trying to sound like the artist, you're gonna have to truly have their voice or say those vocals in the exact same way they did. So now I'm gonna just move on to showing you how to kind of experiment, not even on vocals. I'm gonna just show you guys really fast. If you're afraid to mess with plugins, don't be afraid to experiment, and this is what I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna jump in FL Studio really fast. Alright guys, so I know I said I was gonna show y'all how to adjust and kind of fix your presets, and I'm gonna run through this very fast. If you use anything else, you can still do this, but I'm gonna just be using FL Studio to demonstrate this. Right here we got the iayze preset. This is like his aux track, and I did a video recently breaking this down, his Pro Tools template. So I translated all the settings into FL Studio, and basically when I say don't be afraid to experiment and mess around, let's say you got some vocals. Let's say, oh, I bought this chain, I bought this vocal preset online. Don't hesitate to go, look, let's say you're aiming for a drier sound. Maybe just do what your ears are telling you to do. Just mess with the settings, and if something happens and you end up messing up the preset, just make sure all you got to do is just drag back on and it's reset. So don't be afraid to mess around with the preset. Let's say, oh, I kind of want like a flanger on here. Well, you can open up a flanger, and let's say, oh, just kicking up like random settings. In engineering, there's people who like to do things the right way, and there's people who think you should rely on your ears, and I think you should do both, but I think you should more so rely on your ears. If you can get something to sound really good in your own way, and it's somewhat correct with like compression and de-essing and stuff, and just the order of the chain, I think that's great. So I'm really more for trust your ears and the sound. So let's just say I needed a flanger, and I kick all these settings up and I mess up this really bad. Don't be afraid to just go drag on the preset you just had, and it will reset it. Don't be afraid to add plugins, and if you mess up, you can just drag it back on, reset the preset if you messed it up too bad. But you're gonna have to take time finding your sound that works for your settings, your interface. So let's just say, oh, I didn't like this CLA 3A on here, but I think it sounds better with just the CLA 76. Well, then that's good. Maybe you could add a flanges or something in FL Studio, like a stock plugin. Oh, I think it's too wet though, so just drop that down. This goes for any settings, any preset. Just don't be afraid to mess around, because these settings on the preset you got likely are going to need to be changed to an extent. So that's all the time I wanted to spend on FL Studio and just showing you how to switch things up, how to change things. It's really just going to depend on your setup and your microphone, your interface. But yeah guys, I just wanted to show you guys that if you mess up changing the preset too bad, you can drag back on that basic preset. You can undo, or if you're on Mac, you can do Command Z. I'm not sure what for Windows it is, but if you mess something up really bad, just go Command Z and it should undo whatever you did. See, it just brought back the old preset with the flanges. So yeah guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I'm gonna try to do more of these helpful, like informational videos about presets, mixing, everything. So yeah guys, I'm gonna try to do one of these every Wednesday and Thursday. Hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope y'all have a good one. Peace out.